So you want to know how to meet like-minded people. The way I'm actually going to go about teaching you how to meet a like-minded person or like-minded people is I'm actually going to tell you a story about how I did it. And if you actually watch, like you genuinely listen, none of this, I'm gonna put this video on in the background and make a bit of dinner, right? Like genuinely watch and listen, you'll be able to meet a like-minded person yourself. But the way that I actually met the first like-minded person in my life happened in college. And I remember the exact moment it happened. I was outside my class and I was nervous as hell, right? I was fucking sweating, my muscles were tense, my butt cheeks were clenched, everything. I was nervous as hell because I was actually about to do something that would have major impacts on my life depending on which way that it went. The thing that I actually had to do was I needed to approach this guy, right? Because there was this guy standing right across from me and I needed to approach him because I needed help with working on an app that I was working on at the time. And obviously I couldn't just do it myself. I needed some help, but I didn't know anyone. So I was like, okay, I'm going to approach random people outside my classes. And this guy that I was actually looking at right in front of me, he was like the first guy that I saw. And I was like, okay, I'll just approach him. Thing is, I just couldn't do it. I'm standing there racked with anxiety about a thing I know I have to do, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get the confidence that I needed to do it. Even worse than that, class was about to start and everyone was about to go in and I had no idea when I would get my next chance to actually, do this, approach this guy or approach anyone for a fact. Just stood there, nervous as hell, looking at this clock that was right above the doorway of the room into the class, and I'm staring at it, I'm seeing it count down towards the time where everyone will be let into the class. And I'm thinking, holy shit, what do I do? Then it hit me. You see, I was in the transition phase of self-improvement right now. And if you don't know what that means, it's essentially the phase of self-improvement where you're just getting into it, you're just exploring all this new and exciting stuff, the gym, making money and all of that stuff. And you're starting to have these big dreams, right? But obviously everyone else in your life, bro, they don't believe you. Like, they're like, oh, you can't do it. You'll never make it. Some people, if they're hella rude, they'll just laugh in your face, right? And a memory of that hit me, right? Because I remember I told my mom, I'm going to do this big thing. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to accomplish this with my life. And my mom, she'd be like, yeah, nah, you can't do that. You ain't built for that. Straight up, my mom, my own mother, I told her that. And the memory hit me there. And at that point, I was filled with motivation. I was driven. Because that memory had hit me where it hurts, and it hit me at this pivotal moment. So I'm like, you know what, man? Am I really going to prove them right? Am I really going to let everything that they said come into reality and show them that, I could never make it? No. Boom. I'm filled with energy. I'm motivated. I'm elevated. I'm driven, right? So boom. I stand up, head up high, freaking shoulders broad, and I start approaching this guy like a bull going over to a red flag. So boom, I'm walking, right? And eventually I come over to this guy, and this guy, he turns around, right? And he's looking at me, and this look in his face of like, holy shit, who's this guy, right? Like, it's as if Michael Jordan had approached him, but like before he was famous, right? But he still had the confidence, if that makes sense. And I'd approach him with that sort of energy, bro, and you could see it in his eyes, bro. He had seen the aura surround him. And so now, boom, I fully approached him, and I'm like, yo, what's up? And he looks back at me, and he's like, yo, what's up, right? I'd become so confident, my aura had become so great that now this brother was nervous that I was approaching him. It was mad. After that, obviously, we go through the pleasantries. I introduce myself, he introduces himself. Everything, conversation starts flowing smoothly, right? But then, boom, it gets to the point where I drop the question, which was literally the entire reason of this interaction. I go to the brother and I say, yo, so I'm working on this app, actually. And then I pitch him the idea. And I'm like, yeah, so I actually need a few coders, right? Because it's a lot of work. I don't think I'll be able to get it done in the time that I need it to get done. And he looks at me for a moment, and I look at him, and there's a short pause. And then he goes, yeah, you know what? That sounds great. And I'm like, okay, say no more. Obviously, I got to keep it cool, right? We can't blow this shit. And I'm like, yeah, say no more. Give me your contact details. We'll talk more about it on WhatsApp. And he's like, yeah, okay, say no more. And then later on, me and him get to talking over WhatsApp, and brother, I realized that me and him were like this. We were locked in. Our missions and visions aligned. It was insane. In fact, it got to the point where me and him, every single day, without not one day would miss, we would meet up after classes and we would talk about business, nothing but business and everything in between, right? And if there was a moment where, you know, maybe we would start slipping and accidentally talk about something else, well, then you were in a parallel universe and that wasn't me and him, because I just told you all we would talk about was business, right? And me and him locked in, and we're still boys to this day. That is the story of how I met the first like-minded person. Now, if you didn't pick up any of the lessons that were literally right there, then it's calm. I'm here. I'm gonna break it down for you real quick. So lesson number 1 was that like-minded people are hidden in plain sight. That guy was just a random, ordinary guy stood outside my class waiting to go in. If I had never approached him, I would have never, ever have known that me and him were finna be like this, right? So that's lesson number 1. Now, lesson number 2. Confidence is key. If I had never had the confidence to actually approach that brother, then I never would have known that me and him were actually like-minded. And that's the same for you. If you don't have the confidence to approach someone, that can be in real life, maybe you go and you approach strangers, or maybe you go online, right, and you approach people there. If you don't have the confidence to do it, you're never going to meet people that are like you, right? There's no Prince Charming that's going to flipping roll up to your house and be like, brother, I know you've been looking for people like me and you, come on, let's get together. No, that's not going to happen. You need to have the confidence to approach people like you. And now for the final lesson, lesson number 3. Now, this one's a bit more secret. It's a bit more hidden. I don't see too many people online actually talk about it, but it's still incredibly important. Basically, it's you set the tone of a friendship. Now, what I mean by that is if every day you go up to your boy and you keep talking about cars, or you keep talking about streets, or obviously it's a bit exaggerated, but you know what I mean? You keep talking about garbage, right? Oh, this new game came out. Oh, this new movie came out. Oh, you keep talking about garbage. Then you set that tone for the relationship. Even if that guy has the potential to be much more like-minded than he appears to be right there, you're never going to experience that like-minded or driven or motivated or self-improvement version of him, because you keep going up to him, you keep talking about garbage, right? But on the other hand, if you go up to your boy and let's see he actually has potential to get on the self-improvement mission, and you're talking to him about, yo, we need to make money, yo, we need to get a fit body, you know, we need to do this sort of stuff, we need to improve ourselves, right? Then that seed, what you're doing is you're watering that seed, right, of potential. And not only will it grow, but he'll actually become more like-minded like you, because you've now set the tone of the friendship to be more about self-improvement than it is about bullshit. And one last thing that I do just want to quickly interject before I wrap up this video is that I am actually setting up a community for all of us self-improvement people to basically just gather up. And so it's just much more easier to meet those like-minded people. It is absolutely free, no cost, no charge, no sneaky subscription. So if you do want to join, the link is, you know, down below. And yeah, subscribe, like, all of that good stuff. And I will see you on another good day.